Hello, everybody, and welcome back to episode number 4 of the Half Brothers podcast. My name is Jacob.
I'm Glen.
And as you can tell by the podcast name, we are, in fact, half brothers. If you haven't already, go check out episodes 1 through 3. Last week's episode was honestly a lot of fun. Kept it on a little lighthearted note. We didn't want to get too deep, get too serious. First 2 episodes felt like, they were kind of trending that way. So we wanted to keep a little lighter, keep a little more entertaining. But we'll see what we get into this episode, Glenn. What do you want to talk about today?
Yeah, man. So our main topic today is going to be something that I've really been excited about. It's been haunting me my whole life. It's been something that's been on my mind since I was a child. And today
Really?
We're going to get to the bottom of it. Oh, yeah. Yeah. You know what I'm
I
talking
didn't start
about.
thinking about this until probably I turned 20. I was
Really?
not a thing. Don't even need to think about it. Don't even need to stress. Didn't start thinking about it until I was 20.
I think this is something that parents should have a conversation with their kids about when they get to the age of, 7 or 8, when life starts getting a little more real to them. They need to have the talk. Of course, we're talking about the alien talk.
The birds and the bees.
Yeah, well, birds and bees do exist. We know that. But do aliens exist?
Do you know who gave me that talk, though?
Who gave you that talk?
You.
Did I really?
Yeah.
Wait, I think your mom asked me to give you that talk.
She did.
And then
I
I was
remember
like,
coming over to your house and you stayed out at the car for a second, and I was like, what is going on? And then you came back inside and were like, Jacob, we need to have a conversation.
bro, how old were you? Hold on, I'm trying to remember this.
I was
How
in
old were you?
5th grade because it was right after I had my first kiss, so she started getting real worried.
So she asked, that's funny. So an 8th grader had the talk with a 5th grader, which, by the way, I don't know if your mom knew this at the time. I don't think my parents had that talk with me. So I was kind of going in there without any,
That's
without a
why
lot of
that you
context.
even knew.
Oh, I mean, I went to Akron Public Schools, so
That's a good point.
you learn through, the grapevine communication through other kids that knew way too young and they're talking about it. And I'm like, what are you talking about? What does that mean? What is this? What is this?
The kid in the room right across from me, man.
Yeah.
Knew stuff way too young. Was teaching me all that stuff way too young.
I bet he was, man. I bet he was. Shout out Big O. That's funny. See, that's what I love, man. You never know where it's going to go. But ladies and gentlemen, I gave Jacob the sex talk when he was in 5th grade. And when I was in 8th grade. I had no knowledge of what sex actually was because they didn't teach it in our schools until high school, I don't think. And my parents didn't really tell me either because they felt awkward about it. And they were like, he'll figure it out. And you know what? I hope I do one day. Moving on.
You'll figure out how it works.
We'll see. Yeah, hopefully. I don't know.
Got to put a ring on that thing first.
Exactly. That's right. And then hopefully she has a lot of experience so she can teach me. Just kidding.
I was going to say, hopefully not.
Might cut that. No, we'll keep it here. All right. So, Jacob, before we dive into aliens, which you and I have very strong opinions on, I think. I know I do. I'm pretty sure you do.
Just I don't think we've ever really talked about it before either.
No, but we're white guys from Ohio. So,
what else is there to talk about?
What else do we have going on?
Yeah.
People are like, how come all these white dudes from Ohio are so weird and crazy? Because we're bored, dude.
Exactly, bro. People don't understand.
You get it. All we do is sit around and get angry.
Although, since I've become an adult, I've really realized, how... I mean, crazy thing is, Ohio is one of the most populated states.
Oh, yeah. It's the best.
Once I've gotten older and been able to travel and stuff more, there's really a lot of farm in Ohio. There's a lot of farm. You can drive, 30 minutes outside Akron, you're in farm town.
Yeah. Yeah. People, so that's why it's interesting, because when I moved to, New York, or I travel and visit friends in LA or these other big cities, or even Chicago, when they hear I'm from Ohio, they assume I grew up on a farm.
Yep.
And all these Ohio stereotypes, I didn't understand, because I was like, what are you talking about, dude? I'm from Akron. We're from a city. And so all this hillbilly, country, farmland, white boy from Ohio stereotype stuff, I didn't fit into it. I was like, what are you even talking about?
Yeah.
And it's because we didn't grow up in that part of Ohio. You know what I mean?
And it's that strip from Akron to Cleveland. It's all city.
It's all city.
There's no farmland. It's all cities, all the way to it. And like that's all. I mean, that's all I ever went to growing up was like from Akron to Cleveland, going for games, events, different things like that, or going to Sandusky, which
Right.
that ride's so long that I was never really paying attention up until we got to like Sandusky and saw all the cool houses and everything. So yeah, I didn't realize how much of Ohio is actually farmland. And we actually had a foreign exchange student in high school. He was from Spain, and he said that exact same thing. He was like, "I thought Ohio was all farms. I thought
Yeah.
Ohio was all farms."
Yeah, it is. It is crazy that those poor exchange students got sent to Akron, Ohio, of all places.
Yeah.
They
I always think that too. Like, man, of all the places you could have went to in America, like you're in freaking Barberton, Ohio. What is that?
Dude, yeah, it's funny because we had a few exchange students at Ellett High School. Shout out to the east side of Akron. Um,
So
yeah, but we had a few. We had German, we had Brazilian, and they were like, they were like really. Most of them were really cool people, and a lot of them were also, they were like, not to be, hating on my own people, but they were more attractive than all of us. These European folks coming in and the Brazilian folks coming in, they were wiping the floor with us. There was all this competition. If you wanted to date someone, now you got even more competition. They have this accent that everyone likes. But the thing is, I'm like, they're probably telling their friends and family, like, yo, I'm going to America. I get to go to America for a year. And they're like, no way. Like New York City, Los Angeles, where are you going to go? And they're like, no, no, no. I'm going to be in Akron, Ohio,
yeah.
defending my life every single day I walk to school.
So at least our exchange students, they were all like the richer kids. Like they weren't poor from the countries they came from. Their families had money.
No, you have to have money to be an exchange student.
I did not know that. I always thought
Yeah.
it was like the other way around. Before I actually like had one and met one, I always thought it was the other way around.
Bro, dude, my buddy from Germany, we're not buddies now, but we were good friends when he first came to our school. It's just so funny because he came over like this European, very well polished, German dude, basketball player, devout in his Islamic faith and everything, very proper in how he was and all that stuff. And bro, after a year in Akron, that dude was going back to Germany with chains, a grill. He was like, yeah, man. So I played basketball in Akron, just like LeBron. He's like talking
Just
all
like
hood.
LeBron.
Dude, I was like, yo, you just became an Akronite, my guy. You
Honestly.
are an Akronite. It was just so funny to watch that switch up real quick. Akron will change you, folks. Northeast Ohio will change you.
Or it'll mold you into the person that you are because you grew up there.
Exactly. Or it will kill you because, gets a little wild sometimes.
Yeah, it does. It does. I'm not going to lie.
So be safe. Please be safe. You be safe out there, Jacob.
Luckily,
Speaking of,
I don't really live in Akron. I just live close to Akron.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you got a nice spot. You're in a nice little area. It's still the Akron area, but you got a little bit of land now. You're a big boy now. You got some land.
Gonna
You
get
got
some chickens over the
space.
summer. I'm so excited about it. Never gonna have to buy eggs again.
You're gonna get some chickens. Wait, you're being for real?
Yeah, for real. I mean, maybe not over the summer, but like that's definitely in the long-term goals is to get a chicken coop in the backyard.
Where do you go? How do you go about getting a chicken?
There's a Tractor Supply in the town area.
So it's funny because now you're becoming that guy from Ohio.
I am.
We were just talking about
I am.
Farmer Jake.
Yeah.
Well, real quick.
So like when our food is loaded full of nonsense, like that's really your only choice.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, you want to see where that's coming from. Well, hopefully, that Mr. Kennedy guy that he's all this talk. I hope it works out. We'll see.
I hope so too.
We're not going to get political, but I would not mind if some of the poisons in our food got mixed up. But I also like the poisons; it tastes pretty good, and I probably won't stop doing it, even if he tells me to. So
some of the poisons are good.
Some of them are amazing.
Like sugar, that's a great one.
Well, why don't we talk about some of those poisons real quick, dude? Because I love fast food. I know you
Me
used
too.
to love fast food.
No, I still
feel
do.
like it's kind of crazy.
Chipotle after this.
Oh, heck yeah, dude. I mean, that's a little bit of a step up from fast food.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, but it's still fast. Like
It's
you go
still
to
fast.
Chipotle, you're out within 10 minutes.
But I'm
I don't
talking
know about your Chipotles because you live in, New York, but
it's the same. It's just more expensive.
are
and
they
they get
popping? Are
less.
they always like busy when you go in there?
Oh yeah, Chipotle is still popping out here for sure.
Yeah.
It's just so easy and convenient. But what else is popping is there's a McDonald's on my block actually.
Yeah,
which
I do
think
remember seeing that.
Yeah. There's a McDonald's right on my block downtown Brooklyn, and it's always popping, bro. But it's also a little, at night it's kind of where It's kind
don't
of where
want to
you
be.
don't want to be because it's like a bunch of drunk people getting their food, which,
Yep.
sometimes, you might fall into that category, and there's no shame there. Getting
Dude,
that food, need that food. That's the best thing you can do.
when me and James were coming back from your birthday party, dude, I wanted to go to McDonald's so bad, man.
Oh,
I
you
was
didn't?
so hungry. No, we didn't get
Bro,
any food.
he won't eat McDonald's.
Good, good. It's trash.
Nah, man. It's amazing. But how about this? The greatest fast food rivalry, according to the numbers right now going on, the highest competitors are McDonald's, the OG. McDonald's been on top for a long time. Wendy's is doing number 2, so Burger King's not even in the top 3 right now.
Did not expect it to be Wendy's. I was gonna say Taco Bell if it wasn't Burger King.
So apparently, this is going off last year, I guess.
Okay.
Apparently, Wendy's had a big year, and then also Chick-fil-A.
Yes.
So out of those 3, bro,
Jesus
which has
chicken, baby.
which one has the best fries?
Oh, is this like an actual question? I think
I'm
there's
asking
only
you a
one
question.
correct. Yeah, it's Chick-fil-A. No question about it.
Really?
Oh yeah, dude. Their fries are elite.
Okay. I mean, they have great fries. Wendy's is definitely the worst fries out of the 3.
Yeah.
They did get better. They used to be really bad.
Yeah. I mean,
They
I
used
know
to be
you're probably
bad.
going to say McDonald's. I would put McDonald's at 1. It's just they're too inconsistent. And if I ever get a large fry at McDonald's, it's never good. Like they always are cold. Always.
Damn, I might get McDonald's for lunch, bro, which is terrible. But I'm gonna have to go McDonald's because I hear what you're saying.
You
Yes,
guys got the hot and
sometimes
spicy McChickens right now?
we do. Those are pretty good.
Yes, bro.
Those are pretty
so
good.
I guess they always have those down south. Like when I was in Texas, they're just always there. I think
Really?
that's like the regular McChicken down south is a hot and spicy. And they don't even call them McChickens, they call them hot and spicies.
Yeah, man, they say a lot of stuff wrong down there, though. No offense.
They
Love you
call
guys.
it like pop soda, like that type of stuff. They call it
They do
Coke.
that here. They do that here. We could do a
No,
whole
they
other
don't call it. They
podcast
don't
on
call
that.
it soda. They call it Coke. Like you say, hey, can you get me a
I see what
Coke?
you're saying. Yeah,
You're just
down
talking
south.
about a pop in general.
And I'm like, yeah, I mean, we have Pepsi. They're like, yeah, that's fine. I'm like, okay, but if I'm like, yeah, no, we don't have any Coke. We only have Sprite and Mountain Dew.
Like, yeah, I said I wanted a Coke.
And I'm like, bro, I just said we don't have Coke. But yeah, man, real quick though, the McDonald's fries, here's why they're the best, bro. Even though you're right, they're inconsistent, but when they're on, they are on.
They are.
Okay, like bro, just like a large fry because they're not soggy. They're never soggy. And I do like Chick-fil-A, but sometimes those fries be soggy. And with McDonald's, it's like crispy, the salt, just the.
So they used to make them in beef tallow and steak and shake. Whoa. Well, I'll have to put you on a game. Anyway, Steak and Shake is going back to frying their stuff in beef tallow. They're not using seed oils anymore. So they're going to be seed oil free.
Really? That's good, I guess. I don't know what that means, but I do know Steak and Shake I haven't been to in years because I'm always waiting in line, bro. I feel like I'm still waiting to be seated right now at Steak and Shake.
They don't do that anymore.
They don't seat people?
No, you just find a seat. Find an open table. And
Well,
I think they don't have servers anymore. Like they have the menu things. Like you just order on the thing and then they bring you your food.
That's one restaurant where I'm fine with automation replacing people because worst service ever. Really good food.
Yeah.
Worst service ever. Food would be cold when you got it. If you ever got it warm, it was good. The milkshake's still fire, but
really. See, I've never had a complaint about the food at Steak and Shake. I've only ever had a complaint about the service. Food's never been cold for me or anything like that.
Really?
Yeah, it's always just been the service.
Well, the service made it cold because they let it sit there forever.
And it's wild because I feel like it'd be the best drunk food, but I've never had it drunk. Yeah. Honestly, I haven't had it since like high school, but it used to be like the high school spot. Like late night, if we wanted some food, we were going to Steak and Shake.
Sure. Oh, that makes sense, man. I mean, it was open. Was it 24 hours?
Yeah, it's 24 hours.
Okay. All right. Well, last thing here on this though. Since we said McDonald's, Wendy's, Chick-fil-A, if you had to replace one of these, which one would it be and what would you replace it with for your top 3? Amazing.
There goes the mic.
That's all good. Actually, you know what? I'm going to switch up the question while you adjust that. We have these here just because these are based off like revenue numbers or something from last year. But what are your actual top 3 fast food spots? I'll start. I'm going to go 3. Starting at the 3 spot, I will actually put Chick-fil-A in there. Number 3. Number 2, I'm going to go McDonald's. Number 1, Number one.
I already know what you're going to say.
Is that T-Bizzle, baby.
I knew you were going to say that.
All day, every day. What it does to me physically is not great, but emotionally also probably not great. But in that moment, when I dip the fire sauce onto that tortilla and I shove it inside of me, it's amazing. Best thing ever.
Yeah.
Do your thing. Fix your
T-Bill's
thing.
a
We can
good
cut.
one.
We can edit the part where you're fixing your thing out. So go ahead.
No,
and
we're not editing anything, man. We're showing these people how hard it is to actually make a podcast so that they appreciate it more.
Amazing.
If you would have
Let's
seen
do
the
this for
trouble
5
we
minutes.
went through for episode 2, hit that subscribe button, man. Episode 2 was a pain in both of our, whats. Took me 2 hours to edit 8 minutes of the podcast because my computer is so old and slow. And then it took Glen another hour and a half to finish the podcast because his computer actually works. But he locked in and he got it done. And he got it done for you guys because we're dedicated to putting out quality content.
That's right. The 3 of you watching this is for you. I do this for you. And shout out to the Adderall that helped me get through that editing session.
So it did way better than I ever expected it to do. Like, I thought it was going to be like 10 views on episode 1.
I know.
Have you checked it out?
Yeah, no, we got too many views on that, bro. I was like, dang, we got a little personal on that first one, bro.
Yeah, man.
People are texting me like, yo, are you guys good? I was like, yeah, we're good.
57 views.
I literally had friends be like, yo, man, that was pretty deep. Like, you guys are really funny together, and I enjoyed some of it, but I'm going to be honest, I just want to make sure you're okay.
For real?
Yeah, I'm being dead serious, bro. And we'll talk more about the feedback later. It was overall good feedback, but they were like, maybe, they were like, you guys are really entertaining together, so maybe just balance it a little bit more. And I was like, bet, we can definitely do that. But
most of my friends must not have watched it because nobody said anything to me.
No, dude, my friends, I got good friends out here, bro. I will say I mean, I don't expect people to listen to every minute of everything. There's so many podcasts. I mean, you got to be listening to Theo Vaughn before you catch up on our podcast. You know what I mean? But yeah, man. So let me know when you're ready, and then we're gonna dive into this topic of aliens. But in the meantime,
he's Eminem. Hold the mic. It's gonna take me too long. So my top 3 fast food places. We're considering Chipotle a fast food place. No,
it's gotta be the greasy drive-through stuff.
Greasy drive-through. Recently, this one's going at number 3 because I've recently been visiting it a lot. KFC. I actually can't hear you anymore.
Yeah,
okay,
I muted myself.
Okay.
I muted myself so that you could do your top 3
Okay.
I was making a bunch of noise.
Okay. All right. So recently, KFC's got to be number 3. Number 2 has got to be T-Bell. And number 1 is that Jesus chicken, baby. Chick-fil-A, dude. I love Chick-fil-A. Anytime I'm in Montrose, I'm getting Chick-fil-A. It's so good to me. Spicy chicken sandwich, large fry. Their Powerade, I don't know if they make their Powerade different or if because they say McDonald's Coke is different because McDonald's serves so much Coke that they get it in these large metal containers. So they say it tastes different at McDonald's. I feel like that's the same case for Chick-fil-A's Powerade. It's so good.
I have heard that. Chick-fil-A sauces, by the way, are also fire.
Yeah.
And
you go with?
I go with the Chick-fil-A sauce and the Polynesian sauce.
Yes. Yeah, those are mine too. Chick-fil-A and Polynesian.
The Chick-fil-A and the Polynesian, baby. And I soak my fries in that stuff, my chicken in that. So, man, I'm getting really hungry talking about this stuff.
Yeah, me too. I'm definitely going to Chipotle once we're done with this.
Yeah, bro. Just a heads up, though. Jesus never had the chicken at Chick-fil-A. He never even knew about it.
He didn't
have it. So
it's called Jesus Chicken because they're Christians and they're closed on Sunday.
Well, the owner is a Christian. He closed it on Sunday. But yeah, I hear what you're saying. Yeah. But I just want you to know that Jesus wasn't eating that chicken, bro. He never got that. He was eating chicken that was not processed. It was probably healthier. You know what I'm saying? Not as good. He saved it for us. But, anyway. Yeah, dude, I respect it. All right, Jacob. Well, now that we just talked about gluttony and I'm getting
for 20 minutes, holy smokes.
Yeah, it's okay. We will edit. We can edit some of that out. Well, let's get into it, bro. Aliens. All right. It keeps me up at night. It wakes me up.
Actually, before we get into it, I do want to fix this because my hand's getting tired.
All right. Do you think?
So we will cut this.
Yeah. No, we're for sure gonna clean some of this. So, man, let's get into it, bro. It's a topic that everyone's talking about all the time for a long time. Like literally, they've probably been talking about this
And like
for a very,
recently
very.
too, because of all the classified information and whatnot being said, it's going to be released.
Yeah, I sure hope so. We'll see. So here's the thing, aliens, bro. Real quick before we get into some of the evidence that's out there, because it's overwhelming.
Yeah.
There's a lot. Honestly, actually, I cannot wait for clips of this to be taken by my coworkers and sent to my boss and be like, our coworkers
This guy's
are
crazy.
conspiracy theorists. And I'll be like, oh yeah? How do I know you guys are aliens right now? Just trying to work me to death.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not in the Truman Show.
Yeah. Dude, facts. Jacob, have you ever seen a UFO?
I've not, no.
Okay, me neither. I've never. There was one time, actually, there's been a few times where I saw something. It definitely was not a shooting star. It definitely was not a plane. It definitely was not like a helicopter. It definitely wasn't a bird.
How do you know?
But because I know what those things look like.
Okay.
But, it's also possible it wasn't a UFO. It could have been LeBron just like jumping really high so fast that it looked like a UFO.
He's the best athlete on the planet. If anybody can pull it off, it's him.
Yeah, but here's what I want to ask you. If they're not, okay, if aliens are real, right? Why do you think they haven't made contact with humans yet? Like direct contact, like we are here.
I will be honest, I don't think aliens are real. I think what we have seen is angels.
Well, and that's all there is today, folks. Aliens aren't real. Jacob said so. Have a good night.
Actually, this is going to be very controversial. A lot of people are going to think I'm dumber than a box of rocks for these two takes that I'm about to give. I don't believe in aliens, and I don't believe in dinosaurs. I believe in angels and dragons.
He didn't tell me he was going to say this stuff before we got on here, guys. I just want to say he said that.
Done, it's over with. I can't be associated with this guy anymore.
No, we can be associated. I just got to clarify before the New York Times comes hitting me. I didn't say that. He said it. We don't. Also, we should clarify. Anything I say, Jacob does not endorse. Anything Jacob says, I do not necessarily endorse. So if you're gonna cancel us, just make sure you're canceling the right one. Okay.
Yeah. It's gotta be Glen if you're gonna cancel anybody.
Let us go ahead. Sorry.
But yeah, don't believe in aliens. Don't believe in dinosaurs. I believe in dragons and I believe in angels. I think that what we have seen from aliens is, like the Bible talks about it, like there's watchers. It talks about different alien type things that have appeared. And there's actually a video on YouTube where it's like, what the angels would actually look like according to the descriptions in the Bible. And they're very freaky. They're what people probably would think aliens look like. And like they're so creepy that I think that is the explanation for what we've seen. And I think any technology that there is from them, honestly, I'd like to see it before I would really know that I believe it. Because you hear all these rumors about different tech, different this, different that. And if it's not like actually out there public information, it's all just speculation, and it's not super trustworthy. But anyway, when it comes to the dinosaurs thing, the reason I don't believe in dinosaurs is because all that we have for dinosaurs is fossil records. And if you look up a lot of the information on how they, can tell different things from dinosaurs, it's like, oh, well, we know this dinosaur lived at this time because of this thing. And it's like, okay, well, how do we know that this is that old? Oh, well, because we found these fossils there. So it's like they're trying to use one thing to prove the other thing, but then that one thing proves that thing. So it's like neither of them are actually proving, like there's no actual science evidence on it. So it's like for fossils, they're like, okay, well, we found this fossil this deep in the earth, which means that the fossil has to be this many years old. Well, how do you know that the fossil is, well, how do you know that because it's that far in the earth, it means it's that many years old? Well, because, the earth goes this far down and we found fossils there, we know that the earth, that it's this many years old. So they're using the two things to prove each other, which is just it's not how things actually work. Like, that's not how you would actually prove something. And then
how would you prove it? How
does that prove it? I don't know how to prove it, but to me, that doesn't prove it.
Okay.
Like, you can't be like, oh, well, because we found fossils this far in the earth, that means the earth is this old. And because we say the earth is this old, that means those fossils are this old.
So you don't trust the aging metrics that they're using?
Correct.
But that doesn't matter. Like the age of things, like what about the bones, bro? And what about the skeletons of these
They're
dinosaurs?
skeletons of dragons.
You think? Oh, so you just would call them something different?
Yes, because
Oh,
and then that's the other thing too is
so
like
why can't you just call them?
all
So
these
you
like,
do believe in dinosaurs?
yeah,
You just
sure,
call them dragons,
yeah, I think they were feathered. I don't think they were scaly. There's no way for them to be able to tell from their bones whether they were feathered or scaly. And
bro. Hold on, real
there's
quick.
counts.
Have you not seen Jurassic Park?
Yeah,
We
I've
have
seen the fictional
video.
movie.
We have video of dinosaurs.
I've seen CGI movie. Yes.
CGI. I don't know who he is, but go ahead.
And then there's also accounts of dragons in the Bible. There's accounts of dragons in, ancient Chinese culture. There's accounts of dragons all throughout history. There's never accounts of dinosaurs.
I mean, it could have been the same thing though. Like it doesn't.
Could
If you
have.
call it one
absolutely
thing,
could
it
have.
doesn't
It
really
absolutely could
matter
have.
what you call it. Like the words change. We don't call like.
I think there was flying, fire-breathing lizards in the sky.
Okay. Yeah, there could have been.
The Loch
I don't
Ness
know.
monster was real.
Okay. This conversation is going so differently than I had intended or expected. So I'm gonna be honest. I'm not too prepared for what we're talking about here. But
okay, let's give your take on aliens. Let's hear your take on aliens.
Real quick, I would just say like dinosaurs, or dragons, whatever you want to call them. Like there's like clearly evidence that there was something huge and bigger and stronger. And I think it's okay that like if you call it something different, we weren't around. At the end of the day, look with aging metrics and stuff, bro. Like I don't know how old. I'm not a scientist, so I just want to be clear that I am not an expert on any of these things. I have thoughts, I have opinions. I like to think cool things, but I'm not going to sit here and act like I understand, fossil fuels or any of that science stuff. Science was like my worst subject. And so, could it have been, could the earth be billions of years old, millions of years old? Of course. Could it not be? Of course. Like I wasn't there. So don't ask me. I don't know. I don't think it makes too much of a difference. That being said, like, with dinosaurs, I just really want there to be a T-Rex out there that's just like listening to you talk and being like, yo, these doubters, man. There's these doubters doubting the T-Rex. They thinking I wasn't scaly. He's calling me a little feathery dragon. Huh? But I'm a manly T-Rex.
Bro, imagine a T-Rex that breathed fire and could fly. Okay. That's way more terrifying.
Oh, dude, for sure. So we can't. Yeah, I definitely. That would be dope. Like, what's the one that flies at the pterodactyl?
Yeah, there's a bunch. I mean, there's a bunch of them.
Like, yeah, that's very dragon-like. You know what I'm saying? So I just feel like in translation, dinosaurs, dragons are probably related or the same thing. And the fire-breathing stuff, they used to breathe fire, and now we got rappers that spit fire. So
yeah, we do.
You could even say rappers are like the evolution of the dinosaur or the dragon. Okay, but I'll be real.
Sure.
I'll be real though. As far as the angel stuff goes, I have actually never heard of that. That could, as far as like aliens being angels. So I wanted to ask you about that. What instances are you referring to exactly? Because obviously I believe in angels, but like, and I do believe they, I believe that at times angels are, protecting us and that God uses them. And that I even have a buddy one time who has a near-death experience. And people aren't going to believe this. It's whatever. It doesn't matter. But like this was a long time ago, and he was out and about at night, and he was about to get mugged. And long story short, he ended up being able to de-escalate this man from mugging him. And the people that were with the man that he saw coming from behind him started running away as he was hugging this man, and this man started crying that was about to mug him and stab him. And then he wondered why they ran away, and he thinks it's because there was a guardian angel behind him, that kind of scared them off. Maybe like, okay, and it could have been in human form of like with a weapon or something. I don't know. I wasn't there. But so I'm just saying, I do believe that could happen. I'm a Christian. I believe that. Other people that want to make fun of it. You believe crazier things too. So
yeah, make fun of it in the comments down below.
Please, I can take a joke, make fun of my beliefs, make fun of our religion. Jacob and I are not softies. We can take a joke. We welcome it. We want you to, because we know some of this stuff is kind of out there.
I mean, I wouldn't encourage you to make fun of the religion, because like we're not going to judge you.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah. So
but something bigger is.
Yeah. That was like, go ahead, make some jokes. We'll see who's laughing later. That was so Godfather like. But yeah, so I wanted to ask you, what are you referring to? So you said there's a few instances where you think it could have been angels. Was there something you heard or saw?
So like the whole like Tic Tac UFO thing where they see this thing like flying above the water and defying physics. They don't know what it was. They didn't see a spacecraft, but they were able to very clearly pick something up on radar.
What's it called? I'm gonna look it up real quick while you're talking.
Tic Tac UFOs, I'm pretty sure it's called.
TikTok UFO.
Tic Tac, like the mints.
Bro, I think you just had an audio issue. It's tic-tac-toe. It's a game.
That is a
All right.
game.
Keep going. I'm looking this up. Keep talking.
So that's one. I mean, there's the one dude that Joe Rogan had on a long time ago. Something Lazar, Bob Lazar, something like that. I mean, he said a bunch of stuff, but again, we haven't seen any of the things that he talked about. And they're shutting down Area 51, which makes me think there's nothing there, and it was just a military base that they said had aliens.
And how come we're getting arrested for jumping over it?
Because it's a military base. You can't go into a military base without being allowed.
Oh,
Like, you can't just walk into a military base. Like,
you just beat my argument pretty easily. I got nothing there. Okay, so I'm looking this up. Tic Tac UFO is a mysterious Tic Tac shaped object that the U.S. Navy pilots encountered in 2004. The object was nicknamed for its resemblance to the breath mint. That's amazing. What happened? So on November 14th, 2004, did you say exactly this already?
maybe.
Radar operators detected the Tic Tac off the coast of South California. Top Gun pilot David Fravor, I don't remember him in the movie.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Was sent to investigate in his F-18. Well,
That's not Maverick.
At least she's legal. Fravor and 3 others observed the object traveling at 60 miles per hour in less than a minute. The object seemed to defy the law of physics. What was the military's response? The military initially blurred the video. Okay, so this is what you're talking about. I see. That's so blurry. This is, what you can't tell. That's the other thing, bro. Some of these videos, like I was watching something. Here's my biggest thing. I'm just going to shift real quick. Life on Mars, okay? Because life on Mars.
Fox, NBC, whoever it was.
Yes, great show. That's right. Thank you. You remember that. Hell yeah. Dap me up over the. Yeah. Wait. Here. Wait, Dap, ready? Wow, look at how your hand reached over into New York. It's crazy. You should have. But yeah,
that was so cringe.
Life on Mars is like what's always been like my number one thing, right? It's like there's videos on it where it's like, oh, look, we found a face in Mars, or look at this square in Mars. But it's like, yeah, dude, the imaging is old, and we are trained to see certain patterns in certain ways. So of course we're gonna find it. But none of these photos or anything, and there was like one photo where it kind of looked like there was a guy on Mars, but it looked like the sand people from Star Wars. You know, we're like, the ones that like beat up Luke or whatever.
Yeah.
But so I'm like, dude, these images, like, guys, you guys are just like, it's fun. It is just fun. Conspiracies are fun. Don't get me wrong. They're so fun. I love them. But at the same time, it's like, this one is clearly like, you guys are just taking pictures and like blurred photos and all that stuff. That's not evidence for life on Mars. The evidence for life on Mars comes with like the history of there being water there.
Yeah.
Like there's so many signs that show that there was water there at some point. And I just wonder, there are conspiracies about this. Now, obviously, I mean, I don't think this is real, but let's just have fun for a second, right? There's conspiracies, and this would be crazy. So let's just do a what if. That humans at one point in time, and some people think before the dinosaurs, right? Before dinosaurs or dragons or whatever, like before like prehistoric times when there's like less signs of humanity, that we came from Mars and we had to leave Mars because, the planet exploded and all that stuff, but everyone that was transported here was so young that they don't remember Mars, all this stuff, and so started a whole new way of life on Earth. Now, that obviously did not happen.
I was going to say, it sounds like Scientology to me.
Is that what they believe?
Yes, they believe that we were like from a different planet. We were dropped off here and started like a new colony on Earth.
I think it's more of like what Elon's trying to do right now, where he's trying to take us to Mars. Like they probably had some genius there This didn't happen. So let's just roll with it. Roll with it.
Okay.
Yeah. So they had some genius there, right? And who maybe was a troll on whatever their social media was. We'll call it Y instead of X. And he was like, hey guys, this planet's gonna blow up. We gotta go. And everyone's like, oh, it's not gonna blow up. It's Mars, dude. It's God's favorite planet. And then he or she was like, speaking in Martian, it was like, and that means, hey, we should go to another planet because that one's got hella water. We're running out.
Yeah.
And so everyone on that planet was like, yeah, whatever, dude. We're going to be fine. I like the clay that this planet's producing, And then he just took off with like 14 people. And boom, here we are. Crazy. Now, if that were the case, it's not. If that were the case, Jacob, why do we still have things like sunburn? Why would we not have evolved to a point where our skin can take anything?
That's a great question, to be honest with you.
Yeah, dude. If I'm from Mars, where are those genes?
I mean, so like they do say skin color and everything is like a form of evolution to your environment. Like we have lighter complexion because we're in the northern part of the world where there is less sun. So we need something to be able to attract more of it. So maybe that's the case. Maybe we weren't getting sunburnt, and then we were down here for so long that our bodies had to adapt and attract more sunlight and everything. So our complexion became lighter, and then in the sun and everything, because that melanin, started to run out, we get sun.
That makes sense. Dang, man, I gotta get some melanin pills or something, bro, because I get sunburned 5 minutes out in the sun.
Dude.
But that's how I know I'm not from Mars. You know what I'm saying? They talk about these extreme temperatures on Mars. I got a blanket when it's 40 degrees, and I need an umbrella when it's 70 degrees.
Yeah.
But anyway, I want to look at some of this. I said enough stupid stuff. But as far as... So Mars is the fourth planet from the sun. Shout out to Mars, anyone that's from there. And for those of you who are not familiar with it. And it's the seventh largest planet. So it's the only planet we know of inhabited entirely by robots that we put there. We put the robots there.
That is crazy.
The Mars, that is wild. That we literally shipped something to Mars.
Yeah.
Multiple things. I don't know. What do you think,
they're
though?
going to send up those like AI robots that you're seeing in Japan and stuff, and they're just going to let them cultivate the planet for us.
Wow, that would be a great way to test out Mars. Send some robots, make a ton of robots, make them as human-like as possible. So like even like make them breathe oxygen, have some of them that are indestructible so they can just start building stuff.
Yeah.
And then have others that like breathe oxygen and like, you're just making clones, kind of like Star Wars. Yeah. And that project should only cost like, $50 trillion, which is fine because we don't have a national debt and eggs are really cheap right now. So we should do that now.
See, we don't want to get into politics.
No, we're not getting into politics, but eggs are expensive, bro.
Is national debt real?
Okay, we're not going to get into that. But no, it's not.
Who
do we owe? We're America, bro.
That's
we're
what
not
I'm
paying you
saying.
back. We're like that. We're like your drug addict uncle that asked for some money and is like, yeah, I'll get you back.
It's like,
I'll get you back, bro.
If you gave the bully at school $5, he's not in debt to you.
Yeah, why'd you give him? What did you give the bully money?
Yeah.
And that's true until they all are like, all right, we're going to nuke you guys. Bye-bye.
We're gonna beat
so
the
Jacob,
bully up.
do you think, bro, like, I don't know how much you've looked into this with Mars, but with the water, with like, because it doesn't have to be human life, right? But do you think there could have ever been life on Mars at one point?
It's not something I've thought about before, but I will think about it here on the spot and give you my opinion. No.
Okay. Why is that?
That's just because, I'm trying to be more grounded in the Bible and a biblical worldview.
Well, let's talk about that. Why would the Bible? Where does the Bible say there's no way they could be any type of inhabitants on another planet?
It doesn't, but it talks a lot about, God creating the earth and him creating people on earth. It doesn't necessarily say that he created any people anywhere else. So I'm not saying that there couldn't be. I'm just saying I have no reason to believe that there is.
Right. So you don't have to believe it, but I'm just saying, but you believe there could have been, though. You believe
there could have been. I'm not I'm not God. I don't know.
Right.
I just haven't found a reason to believe that there is.
Sure. That's fair. Now let me ask you this. If we let's just say, and this is hypothetical, so let's roll with it. But say the planet was starting to like deteriorate, or not even deteriorate, but it was just an option. And Elon or whoever, Tom from MySpace, whoever, all the cool guys are building stuff on Mars. And there would be a safe way for you to get there, and you would survive the travel, and you could take a few suitcases. You could take your dog. I know it's a big deal.
That is a must. That is a must.
And you would get your own place, and you could just test out Mars for a few years. It would take you 6 months to get there,
Okay.
which is quick, because I think space travel takes like 3 years to get to Mars if we actually try to do it.
Okay.
You could get there in 6 months.
Okay.
You would live there for a year just to test it out. But you would have to wear, like a spacesuit anytime you walk outside, because until we adapt the climate, the environment, which I don't even know if that's possible. But would you do it? Would you be part of the test pilot to go to Mars if you knew you wouldn't die from the travel and everything?
If I knew I wouldn't die from the travel, or I knew I wouldn't die just
you wouldn't
living
die.
on
Like
Mars?
if you knew like, okay, they have made it livable in some capacity, but your life's going to be very different because you're literally on Mars.
Oh, I don't know, man. Are there mountains?
It's Mars. You got to look at Mars.
I don't know. Okay. No, I wouldn't do it.
Why not?
Just because like I've lived out of Ohio and not been around friends, and like that sucked.
You took
So
like
to
three
live on
homies
a planet
with you.
with like no water and no, like nothing like Earth has, like nah. I don't go to the beach anymore. Like, I'm not the biggest beach guy, but now the option is just gone.
Yeah.
And there's so much stuff like I haven't seen here on Earth that like I still want to see. I mean, maybe if I got to do all that stuff, I would. But yeah, there's just too much for me to do here still.
Yeah, here's what I would say. All right, hopefully they would develop it a little bit so it's a little more livable, a little more fun stuff. But here's why I would do it 100%. Because, look, when you think about how to make money, bro, the way you make money is investing in real estate early on.
That's true.
All right, every single neighborhood that I see in Northeast Ohio that used to be terrible back in the day, or even Indianapolis used to be terrible back in the day, people are making money off of now because they bought crappy houses when no one wanted to live there. And now everyone's moving into these areas, right? And just housing's going up. So if I'm one of the first people on Mars and everyone's like, oh, yeah, we don't know, it's up and coming, I'm going to buy right now. Give me this whole, what? We only got 50 people here?
Give me this whole half of the planet.
Give me, yeah, exactly, bro. I'm gonna be the next, Napoleon Dynamite or whatever.
You made a good point. You made a good point. I think I would do it for that reason.
The real estate market right now, Mars, it's so cheap to buy land on Mars right now because you have to like get there.
Yeah. Right.
So it's a long-term investment.
Is it cheap because like you'd have to get there and like that is expensive?
But it's an investment because then eventually, once you learn how to get there, you could start a business on getting to Mars.
Like
so
Elon's still sending robots up there, dude. He hasn't gone back. Like, that's where he's from. He hasn't gone back there. Like, you think he would want to go home.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Theo Von's got to be from there as well. I'm pretty sure Theo Von is from Mars, bro.
Yeah, Theo Von is one of the funniest men on the planet.
Funniest dudes ever. The way he thinks, though, got to be an alien.
Yeah.
I think that's my main takeaways. Aliens are real because Theo Von, Elon Musk, people like that exist.
Yeah.
And it's just like, there's no way they're human.
No way.
But yeah, man, I would just say this right now, folks. If you want to take my course, it's a 6-week course on real estate and investing in other planets. You're going to see that value go way up over time. So your ROI is going to be astronomical. Astronomical.
You don't even got any kids, man. You shouldn't be making jokes like that.
Yeah, it is. Every dad joke, you know what? Moving forward, every dad joke I make, we can like play like a wah wah sound or something like that. We got to get the effects going. But yeah, man. Well, listen, this went all over the place, but at the end of the day, we didn't really get into too much evidence. So I think we can conclude, based off of this research that we just did, we don't have sufficient evidence to support that there are aliens or life on Mars.
Yeah.
But could be cool. But I would go there, and I think you guys should all think about it. But with that,
I definitely would for the real estate reason. Like, to be one of the first colonizers of the planet. Like, think about the first colonizers of the United States. Like, their families all still have a huge impact on the country.
Yeah.
Like the
Yeah.
Rockefellers, his name is just so recognizable that I can't remember the other guys. Fords, you know, all those
Yeah.
people, like, their families still have a grip on this country. So,
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. It's like when you make an impact early on an area, it can last for a long time.
we did not talk about the Super Bowl Fallout and halftime show. Fallout, what Fallout from the Super Bowl?
Yeah, we can talk about it.
I must have missed the Fallout.
Well, I think the fallout is mostly from like I think it just reignited the whole beef with Kendrick and Drake and like
Oh, well, did you see
fallout.
that right before he did the halftime show? Like, Drake was doing a concert, I think in Australia, and he wore like that shirt with a bunch of holes in it with smoke coming out, being like, you know, you took all your shots at me, and I'm still walking right through them.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, bro. It's pretty dope. I thought it was pretty tight.
Yeah.
That video he posted. Here's the thing. Like, I think the fallout was, and I don't have a strong opinion on it. I like Kendrick Lamar. Okay, I'm not gonna act like I'm a huge Kendrick Lamar fan. I'm not gonna act like I listen to him all the time. But I have mad respect for Lamar. I think he won the beef for sure. He's been taking his victory lap for a year, and he deserves it. Like,
Yeah.
I would eat up that moment too. And I think that the Super Bowl, you know, when he did Not Like Us and some of the stuff I thought was pretty cool and a pretty good performance overall. I think the fallout is this, right? You have three buckets of people with the Kendrick Lamar thing. You have one, the Kendrick ride or dies that know he's talented, that know he's amazing. And they've been, you know, for the longest time, they've been wanting the world to see, like, this is our guy. The mainstream has not given him enough respect, even though he's got like a ton of Grammys. So they did get respect. He just didn't have the catchiest songs, you know, to like always be put on the radio. But they did respect him. Yeah. So. But so it's like you got the ride or dies, and they're happy for him, and they should. This is their moment. This is their moment, right? Then you have the casuals who like kind of follow rap culture, but really were mostly interested in like seeing Not Like Us,
Yeah.
right? And so they were like, okay, yeah, that was a cool moment, and they don't really care. Then there's the Drake haters that were watching because all they wanted to see was Not Like Us, and they didn't know any of the other songs, but they're like, Kendrick's to go, Kendrick's to go. But all they wanted to see was Not Like Us. The only song they know is Not Like Us, and they're like, dang, he bodied him, just because they hate Drake so much, and it's cool to like Kendrick Lamar right now.
Yeah.
Okay, I said three buckets. There's more. Two other buckets. The other bucket is the Drake fans that are just going to say like, oh, it was trash, what a terrible performance, like blah, 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 all this stuff. And then lastly, you have the general average American that knows nothing about rap culture and doesn't follow the beef and is watching the Super Bowl because everyone watches the Super Bowl and watch a halftime performance because everyone watches a halftime performance. And they were like, well, I just don't get it. But good for him, I guess, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it was not a visually, in the grand scheme of things, it was not the most visually entertaining thing ever. There were some cool things visually. Samuel L. Jackson was dope. The flag thing was dope. The dancers were really great. But if you aren't in that, like, if you don't follow that and it's not like a big deal to you, you probably didn't really care. And if you did care, you have a strong opinion one way or another. But I thought he did a good job. I think he took his victory lap. I think Not Like Us, great song, very catchy song. And I think now, you know, it's kind of dying down a bit to where like the casuals and the other folks like they're going to move on because they're not going to keep supporting Kendrick. The Kendrick fans will. So Drake could pop back in this year.
Yeah. So I will say, I thought visually it was probably my favorite halftime show ever.
Really?
I thought like some of the camera work, you know, some of the things that he did with it, like when they were in the X and like they were just, you know, going back, you know, from each different like corner of the X. Like, I thought like visually it was one of my favorite halftime shows. And you know, the dude's like laying on top of the light post, and then it comes down and Kendrick's right there with all the guys and everything. I thought visually it was my favorite halftime show I've seen. And then I didn't think the actual performance was that great watching it, but then afterwards when I saw a lot of the Easter eggs, I was like, oh man, like he murdered that. So a couple of the Easter eggs, I didn't notice Serena Williams. Everyone knows there's a history with Drake and Serena Williams. I didn't notice the A minor necklace. Savage, absolute savage.
That was crazy.
Then if I didn't notice that the different shapes that he had were like X, circle, triangle, square, which are the PlayStation buttons. And at one point they lit up to do the Grand Theft Auto sequence for Full Armor and Full Health. So it's like
Oh,
he's
wow.
saying, no matter what you do to me, like I got Full Armor, I got Full Health, nothing's like you can't touch me. So like some of the Easter eggs that were in that were just like, dude, he's on a like his artistic level is just almost unfathomable. Like I thought he did a great job, especially when I saw some of those Easter eggs. Like incredible halftime show. And I'm not a big Kendrick guy. I'm not a big Kendrick fan. He's made some good songs. His last album, him saying he go 1 minute he's saying, I'm a big Jesus guy. 1 minute he's, the reincarnation of Satan. So it's like, I don't know where to stand with him on that aspect, but he makes good music, turn TV off. Not like us, his OG stuff is, some of my favorite. Like I remember going to DC, for 8th grade and whatnot. And like all we were listening to that whole trip was Kendrick. So it's like he's made a lot of good music. I'm not the biggest Kendrick fan, but I do respect him. I do like him, and I thought he did a great job with the halftime show. I will say,
Yeah.
I feel like because of the rap beef, there's a lot more people who say he's the greatest rapper on the planet. And I just think like it's still not even comparable. Like sure, he murdered Drake in the beef, but Drake is still the GOAT. Drake is still the number one, hands down.
Yeah, and I think that it's kind of crazy. Like I think the evidence too is kind of in everything that's going on. Like when someone is on top for so long, and people just start hating. You know what I mean? Some for no reason too, by the way. Like I know there's probably reasons. Some people have good reasons, maybe why they hate Drake. They think he was steal that he's from Toronto, he's not American. They thought he was stealing from the culture, blah blah. Whatever your opinion is, like he's talented and he can do what he wants. And but at the end of the day, most people that hate Drake hate him because he is on top for so long.
They hate him because they envy him.
Yeah, and I mean, you get sick of people winning all the time. Think about the Chiefs, bro. We wanted to see them lose. We naturally, myself included, we just hate when someone's doing too well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because we want to see other people do well, or we want to do well, and maybe we're not doing well. So Drake has been crushing it, and we're like, this dude was on Degrassi? I remember, you know what's crazy? Drake, everyone talks about Drake, but Drake's a miracle, bro, because this dude got shot at 16 in his high school, on TV, was in a wheelchair, and then miraculously got up out of that wheelchair and became one of the greatest rappers to ever live. Like that telling me, what's that? Hold on. I'm getting word. Oh, that wasn't real. Oh, that's part of the show. Oh, my bad. We cut that out. I guess that didn't really happen to Drake. Whoops.
That didn't really happen?
It didn't really happen. That's crazy.
Oh, dude. That guy's the worst. I hate that
Never
guy.
mind.
Never mind.
He's terrible.
He's not the GOAT.
Yeah. But yeah, man, people hate on him no matter what. I would like to see this, though. I would like to see, like, later this year, Drake come out with just, like, the most fire rap album of his life. Like, rap. Like, no singing, maybe a little bit of singing the tag and stuff like that. But I want to see an angry, because, to be honest, bro, Push-Ups and Family Matters, like, it was pretty good. Like at the time, everyone was like, Drake's up, bro. Kendrick, you're on the clock. What's going on? Like Kendrick might be done. And then obviously Kendrick, had
Not Like Us was just
it's just too good.
So good.
It's just too good. Bro, even right now it's in my head. It's just like, and then when he did this will go down forever in history. Like when he's like at the Super Bowl and then he's going, he turns around, he's like, hey Drake.
Yeah.
But at the same time, let me ask you this, Jacob. If the biggest moment in your life from a, media standpoint was because of, because of your talent, yes, for sure. But also a lot of it having to do with because of the hatred of someone that you hate as well. And you probably, to be honest, wouldn't have those eyes if you didn't have that person's attention. Like, would that take it away for you? You know what I mean? Because
I think so. Like, does Kendrick get the halftime show if he doesn't release Not Like Us this year?
No, not this year. Maybe eventually. I mean, he was in a halftime show. Like, he had the respect of everyone, I think, because when Eminem and Lil Wayne was everyone wanted him to do this one, but when Eminem and 50 Cent and Snoop and Dre did the LA halftime show, who was the youngest artist they brought in? Kendrick. They didn't bring in Drake. They didn't bring in Savage or, any of these new guys or Travis Scott or they brought in Kendrick because he is an artist and he is talented and he's amazing. But
I
yeah,
think
man.
one day Drake's going to do the halftime show and he's going to eviscerate Kendrick. Like,
Bro,
I think the beat's going to be died down and he's going to do the halftime show and he's just going to cook him.
I think Drake, if he got a halftime show, bro, he has too many hits that he wouldn't have time to talk about Kendrick. In fact, it would also be better for him if the halftime show is just like reminding everyone, like, oh, you remember this hit in 2009 and 2010 and these three in 2011, 12, 13, 14, 15. You know what I'm saying? Like, he can bring all the hits from the 2010s and still not have any from this decade.
Dude, like the bar in what's the album where his like head's in the clouds? Nothing was the same. Is that it?
Oh, yeah.
Nothing was the same. And he goes, we already got spring 2015 popping. And then releases freaking, if you're reading this, it's too late.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, nobody was like conceptualized, oh, he's going to release an album in the spring of 2015. And he does it before spring of 2015. And it's another banger album. Like, he goes, nothing was the same. If you're reading this, it's too late. Those are my two all-time favorite albums of Drake. Like, I know I listened to all the songs. I love all the songs on them. Like, they're both incredible.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, he's, to me, undoubtedly, he's the GOAT.
Bro, here's what's crazy, though. I do want to see a Drake halftime show at some point. I do want to see a Wayne halftime show at some point because Wayne got the hits, too. That's why a lot of people are upset because Wayne, like, bro, Kendrick's halftime show, as entertaining and as fun and as big of a moment as it was, like, think of the hits Wayne could have brought out from all his, you know what I'm saying? It's just like...
to see Soulja Boy.
Yeah, dude. Soulja Boy would have came out. Dude, that would be a throwback right there. Soulja Boy could be featured on one. I don't think that. I think
he's only got those two. Crank That and then All the Way Turned Up.
Oh, bro, Kiss Me Through the Phone.
Oh, forgot about Kiss Me Through the Phone.
Yeah, trick. Get out of my face. Soulja Boy had some bangers for a couple, like 2 years.
4 songs all the way through instead of doing like the good parts of 12 songs like everybody else does.
Yeah, that's fair. I think here's what I'll say, and I know some people have already said this, but I think, bro, if we're talking like hip hop, rap, or even just any music in general, like the greatest halftime show ever would be if they could make it happen. It probably will never happen, unfortunately, because this dude has gone wild.
But if
Kanye West could just stop being a freaking crazy, whack, terrible person with the stuff he's saying and doing. Like, if he could just chill out, bro, artistically speaking and visually, like, his halftime show would be amazing. And he's so crazy that he might even do this. He could secretly, without anyone knowing, he could invite Drake to come because they did Forever, They did Forever back in the day. And maybe a few other projects. He could secretly invite Drake. Drake comes in. And then they do a song together. I was like, oh my gosh.
Bro. Drake comes out on a Kanye halftime show. Everybody goes crazy, dude.
But Kanye's so crazy and so wild that he could also secretly have someone else pop up while Drake's up there. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you to Drake. Drake, stay here for a second. We also got Kendrick Lamar.
Dude, that'd be nuts.
Kendrick comes out and neither of them knew they were both going to be there.
They just squash the beef and do,
They just squash the beef, and then Kanye drops a diss track on both of them in front of the whole world stadium, and it's like the most fire diss track of all time.
That would be nuts. Kanye starts the Super Bowl show with a Runaway, and it's just the piano.
What if he did the piano for 20 minutes, and then he just starts the song, and then that's it?
I would enjoy it, bro. I love that song. I love that song.
Kanye could put on an amazing halftime show, but you cannot trust him.
Yeah, and just like the stuff he says, man. Like,
you can't even.
It's insane, dude.
Kanye, bro.
Like, he releases some beautiful gospel music, and then a year later, he's calling himself God, saying that Hitler wasn't a bad guy. Like, what are you doing?
Well,
brother?
let me just say this to the Christians in America, real quick, bro. This is why we don't just, hop on the bandwagon for people as soon as they start saying Jesus on TV. You know what I mean? Like. The thing about American Christian culture in some ways, bro, it's just like, it's just so it's too much of like the celebrityism and stuff like that. Like we are still in love with like the celebrities and things like that. So it's like as soon as you see someone as big as Kanye, which you would, for a minute there, it was like, oh, he's using his platform for good to spread love, and the music was beautiful and like uplifting, and like he had some good pastors around him. But it's like people automatically were like, this is a Saul to Paul moment, and it's like, okay, let's give him some time, guys, because
Yeah.
we've seen this guy's patterns in life,
Yeah.
and he's got some severe stuff mentally like going on,
Yeah.
like we can't just do this right now and jump on it and be like, and then churches are playing his music, and then churches are like doing these performances around his songs, like these mega churches, which have a ton of problems anyway. They're doing some crazy whack stuff anyway, but doing that. And then it's like, how embarrassing is it that you didn't really vet the process, and then a year later, the dude's back out there just acting a fool and being crazy?
Yeah.
Because we idolize things even in the church, even as a church. And so here's all I would say, guys. We want to be humble. We want to celebrate humility. Yes, we want to celebrate like people proclaiming the name of God, spreading God love, but at the same time, it's like, if you're a Christian, be careful, because think of your life. I say I love the Lord, I love Christ, and I want everyone to know the love of God, and I love all people, no matter where you're from or who you are. But then I mistreat people. I mess up. I make mistakes. So if I can make mistakes, being as broke as I am, you know what I mean? Like financially broke, and physically broke because my hips messed up, then think of someone with all that money and power, how they could easily mess up again or do something bad or something crazy. So
Yeah.
we just got to be careful with it. That being said, I hope he repents, man, because he's been saying some terrible things.
Terrible.
And I hope he apologizes to Jewish people, and I hope eventually he wakes up and heals, and that there could be some big charity event he does or something he starts to help the Jewish people, man, because I have a lot of Jewish friends here in New York now. And it's just like, if someone was saying that about my people, like the church, you know what I mean? And was like, someone, if they were like championing someone that killed millions of Christians, I would be like, wow, I can't believe that, but Kanye has been flirting with that dude way too much lately. So
Yeah.
that's all I'll say on that. That's all. Sorry to get too real.
Yeah.
But it would be a great halftime show.
It would. But before we wrap, speaking of music controversy, have you heard about this controversy with Brandon Lake? Do you know who Brandon Lake is? You gotta know who Brandon Lake is.
I do know who he is.
You see that he just like redid Hard Fought Hallelujah with Jelly Roll?
No, I don't really listen to him, to be honest with you. I'm not a fan necessarily of him.
Great music, you gotta listen.
Is
to him.
it?
Yeah,
I mean, I've heard his
Adoption
music.
Song, Grateful, bangers. And then Hard Fought Hallelujah is a really good one too. But a lot of people are losing their minds because he did like a remix on Hard Fought Hallelujah with Jelly Roll. It's not even a remix. Jelly Roll just does the second verse. That, like, if you listen to the original song, it's the exact same verse, just Jelly Roll singing the second one. So it's the exact same song, just with a new artist on it who does have like Christian background. Like, sure, he's not like a Christian artist or anything like that. But he's got the cross tattooed on his face. He did try to make somewhat of a Christian album at one point. He said some really outlandish things about the church and about Paul and different things. But Jelly Roll.
Okay.
Like he said, Jesus' first miracle was getting everybody drunk, which, I mean, like, sure, but like that wasn't the point of the miracle. And then, like, he says, like, he sort of says, like, the thing that, like, a lot of Muslims do about Paul is that, like, he, like, corrupted Christianity in a way, which I don't love, those takes. I wish he would, dial them back a little bit. But, he's still, like, he doesn't, he's not swearing up and down in his music. He's not, telling dudes to go out and, pick up as many bodies as they can. He's not telling people to do drugs. Like, he's got a whole song about getting sober and how hard it is and, his difficulties through it and whatnot. Like, he puts out some good music, some music that I think can help a lot of people, and I don't think that he's not an enemy of the church. I don't think, and a lot of people are up in arms about Brandon Lake letting him do the second verse on the remake.
Bro, I'm gonna be honest, Jake. I love the Lord. I love my church. I love the church, Big C, but this is why I can't stand American evangelical culture sometimes, bro, because they just always make it an us versus them thing. and it's just like so combative and political and like all this stuff. And it's like they want to see perfection. And this is where like the whole like churches filled of hypocrites things comes
Yeah.
from
And
like
this is
people in
what turns a
America.
lot of people off of the church. This
Yeah,
is what makes
bro.
people like, oh, Christians are judgmental. Like Christians are the worst, like things like that. It's like these types of things.
Because
Like
some of them
someone who's
are,
very
bro.
clearly trying to like dive back into his faith and get back into the culture. Like you guys like, no, you made too many mistakes. Or have you heard about that OnlyFans girl? I can't remember her name. She used to have red hair. She dyed it blonde, stopped doing OnlyFans, and like is now telling people to, like, hey, turn to Jesus and all this stuff.
That's great.
Like, have you
That's a
heard
good
about her at
thing.
all?
No, I'm not. I
Bro,
don't
so like
follow
it's
enough
just
of the Christian
same
culture stuff.
same type of, I mean, I see a lot of this stuff on Ruslan. Like I watch a ton of his stuff.
Oh
So
yeah.
also real quick on Ruslan. He was doing a thing at Liberty University, and I guess that I haven't seen the data. He says there is the data. I trust a lot of the things that he says. But he said there's data that even the most introverted person is going to influence 10,000 people in their life. And if you're just the average person that's not, super introverted, odds are you're going to influence 80,000 people in your life. So like the things you do, the way you act, the things that you say, like they are very important. And it's like, it's not
Yeah.
something that I thought about for a long time. Like when I was in my 20s, wanting to do YouTube videos and everything, like I was wanting to be a little more of a degenerate. Like I was wanting to be like the Nelk boys, going out partying, just showing off a bunch of girls, doing all that type of thing. And it's like, oh, as I've gotten older, I've realized like, hey, your influence does matter. And like I would think to myself, like, I don't care if my little cousins watch my videos. Like I don't, my videos aren't for them. And now it's kind of the opposite thing. I'm like, I want them to watch this stuff, and I want them to be like, oh, hey, I want to be more like my big cousin. Like I want to be more like him. So it's like I got to do my best to like set a good example. And then especially like hearing something like that, like I think I'm a little more introverted. I don't think I'm the most introverted person. And the fact that I'm not the most introverted person means I'm probably going to influence a little more than 10,000 people in my life. Like, I got to do better. And I think we as people got to do better. We as Christians definitely need to be more loving and more merciful with people. Especially, people that are trying to find their way back to the church. Like we have to be able to extend that open arms. But when it comes to that one OnlyFans chick that I was talking about, she went on some podcast. The podcast usually has OnlyFans girls on, and they kind of berate them and, are telling them like, hey, yeah, you're a skank, this, that, and the third. And she was on there and she was talking about how, she's come to Christ and she's not doing OnlyFans anymore. And she's kind of advocating against OnlyFans and how bad it is. And the one dude who's like the co-host of the podcast, he is always remote, and he was just destroying her. He was like, nah, because of your past. Like, he was like, you're a prostitute, this, that, and the third, and just calling her all these names. And then his wife comes on and says like, oh, you're trying to make a ministry. She's like, I'm not trying to make a ministry. I'm trying to like, advocate against doing the things that I used to do. Like, I'm not telling anybody to be like me or to think that I know everything there is to know about the Bible. I'm advocating against doing what I used to do. Like, she's a sinner who's repenting for her sin. That's like the exact point. Like, that's the exact thing you're supposed to do. Like, that's what the Bible calls us to do. And it's like so many people are unforgiving and turn people away from the church. And I think we need to do a better job at being more forgiving. I think not just for other people, but for ourselves as well.
Yeah, that's really good, man. And I agree 100%. I mean, look, and we've said this before, right? This podcast is for everyone. We want everyone to listen to it, no matter what your faith background is or whatever it is. But let me just speak to people right now that aren't Christian or that maybe were Christian and have been hurt by the church or hurt by the faith, the people of the faith. We're all hypocrites. If someone calls himself a Christian, they're admitting that they're a hypocrite. I'm a hypocrite. I used to live a life where I was, actively doing things against what I believed to be right. Like I was actively going against what I believed God was telling me to do because I wanted to do what I wanted to do. And there are still times where I'm tempted or where I do it, where I do what I want to do instead of what God has for me. But I want to recognize that like in Christianity, it's not a rule book because God doesn't want you to have fun or doesn't want you to do certain things because he just wants to, be controlling. It's because he created all these good things that we do want to do, but he provided a proper context so that we can enjoy these things in the fullest of all their glory. And so I would say if you have a past where you feel like, you've done some things wrong, or you want to change your life, or you want to go to church, or maybe you don't want to go to church because you feel like it's too judgmental, I just want you to know that if you were to come to my church tomorrow, you would be welcome, no matter who you are, no matter where you're from, no matter what you do, no matter what you believe, no matter, what you've done in the past. You are welcome to walk through the doors of my church, sit in the pew or the chair, sing with us, don't sing with us, listen, observe, and come eat lunch with us afterwards and have great conversations. Because ultimately, I was once one of those people. We were all one of those people that didn't want to be a part of it, or that wanted to do our own thing. And God welcomed us in, and now I have a loving relationship with God, and I still stumble and fall. And I don't, I'm not any better, though, necessarily, of like a human. I'm still a sinful individual, but the Holy Spirit within me has empowered me to grow closer to God, to abstain from sin more often than not, to do all these things. So anyone on these platforms, it's really heartbreaking to hear them calling women these names, calling people, people judge based off your past because they know they have a past and they want to feel better about it. But how about we just don't feel better about our past, and we feel better about our future, knowing that we are forgiven from our past?
Yeah.
So
Amen.
I just have a lot of friends here in the city, man, that they know I'm a Christian, they respect it, but they also kind of don't like it. And it's not because of me, it's because of what they've experienced.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's because of what they see in the media sometimes, things like what you're talking about. It's because of sometimes like how political things get, where there's like more of a political agenda behind someone's, Christianity, instead of like a genuine love and care and understanding. Because some people will use the Bible for whatever they want on every side of anything, right? Instead of
like
just
I was
being
talking about in
genuinely
episode
true.
1, like I was using the Bible to try to justify, my sexual immorality. Like I was looking for any type of loophole I could find to be like, I'm allowed to have sex outside of marriage.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, yeah, people absolutely use the Bible for things that it's not necessarily intended for.
Yeah. But yeah, I do want some feedback on this. So if you guys are out there listening, if you're a Christian, if you're not a Christian, tell us what you think of the things we're saying. We want to do a good job of making this a welcoming podcast for everyone, and trying to make it relatable. But at the same time, we're also going to talk about our faith.
It's not something we're going to shy away from.
Yeah, it's a big part of who we are in our life, and it really helps us to love people better. I care about people way more than I used to.
Yep.
Before I was really faithful. So it's helped me a lot, and I think it's true, and it's not what you might be thinking. If you're out there and you have a negative stigma towards it, it might not be those things that you're thinking. So we'd love to have a conversation with you.
Fully agree.
And pray for you. So. Because at the end of the day, last thing I'll say is people have been hurt by Christians and the church, but no one's ever been hurt by Christ. Mic drop, bang,
bang.
Mustard on the beat, yo. All right.
Last thing I'll say before we get out of here, nobody's probably gonna watch this far into it, so it's just something I'm sharing to you.
This was way better than the alien stuff too, so we can honestly cut some of the alien stuff out. But...
Yeah. I'll let you take a look through it and you cut out what you don't want, and then I'll go ahead and full screen and do all that jazz. Because honestly, I kind of like the whole thing, especially because I think there's a lot of moments we could clip and just post as like short videos.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyway, just because nobody's gonna be watching this part of the video, I am 1 week sober as of today.
Let's go, man.
Yep.
Congratulations, bro.
Appreciate you.
That's awesome. How are you feeling?
Great. I've turned down, I didn't drink at the Super Bowl party last weekend. Some of my buddies asked me to like go get beers and stuff after work. I was like, I'll go, but I ain't drinking. They're like, oh, what's the point of going then? And I'm like, just to hang out with the boys,
Mm-hmm.
And nobody ended up going anyway. So it wasn't like I missed anything, but it honestly was really good. And something that helped with it a lot was on Monday, I fasted. So like I didn't eat food. And it was like, this battle of not eating food took the battle away from, not getting unsober. It was like, oh, I don't care about not being sober. I care about eating. Like, all I want to do right now is eat. And so it was like I had to fight that battle instead of the other battle. And then it was like I did that day of not eating that I was like, you know what? I don't need to even think about it anymore. And it's like when I do think about it, I just do something different. And honestly, like the podcast has helped a lot because it's helped me, instead of having time where I could just do nothing and be lazy, I'm like, okay, I'd go edit the podcast, go post a clip, go see how the clip's doing, go comment on it, you know, this, that, and the third. So yeah, feeling good.
I really like that you say that a lot, and I'm going to start using that. This, that, and the third. I never heard that before until you started saying it, bro. So I'm going to start saying that. This, that, and the third.
Yeah.
You listening now, then you know you heard. Because I'm about to go to the bathroom. It might be a nice turd. And I used to be cool, but now I'm a nerd. So let me just say this, that, and the third. Because if you got to go.
Hey, this was episode 4. Make sure you check out the third.
Let's start freestyling after every rep. Yeah, it's been a Half Brothers podcast. Yeah, you know I used to have an arm cast. Because this dude broke my pinky, man. That was crazy. He had me sitting at the house. I was acting lazy. Man, Kendrick Lamar, he don't want this beef, bro. Because he knows that I might have to beat him, yo. I'm that white boy from Akron, Ohio. You already know it's them ride or die, bros.
Hey.
Half Bros podcast. Hey, they not like me. They not like me. All right. No one's watching this far. We're 3 hours in. We're going 4 more hours. We got 5 more topics. Let's talk about it. Trump, Biden, politics. Bring everyone together. Heal the world.
9/11 was an inside job. All right. Thanks for listening to episode 4, guys. We hope you enjoyed. Definitely like, subscribe, and share with your friends.
All right. God bless. Sign off. Say our catchphrase, Jacob. We don't have one yet, but we'll come up with one. Yeah. Until then, we love you guys. Happy Valentine's Day.